Hello everybody, welcome back. Bam Deadstroke here for another deck tech video. Sadly, I do not have the Padim deck finished yet. I'm working on it. I'm thinking either red blue or black blue. I got the blue part, but there's not enough, so I want to add a second color. Of course with red blue artifacts is pretty good. Black blue artifacts you get discard and removal and stuff like that, so we'll see. But for the time being, I figured I would share with you guys the deck that I was going to bring to the Standard Showdown tonight, until the central Iowa weather decided, hey, it's mid-December, let's put down enough snow to make it slippery, but not enough snow to make it not slippery, if that makes any sense. So I didn't want to have to drive a half an hour in the bad weather with Iowa drivers seeming to forget how to drive when the snow starts to fall. So I will just share with you guys the deck. There are the tokens and the die that I use. I don't really know why I said that, but it's there for your enjoyment. So let's jump right into it. I kind of went for a black-white exile Eldrazi-ish thing. A lot of removal, a lot of exiling stuff, a lot of Eldrazi. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So first off, we got 2 Quarantine Field. Good late game removal for vehicles, planeswalkers, big creatures, stuff that you might not be able to deal with removal or with your creatures. So yeah, just a good exile stuff, late game answer to things like planeswalkers. Mostly planeswalkers anyway. Maybe vehicles if you need to. But also for vehicles we have a playset of Grasp of Darkness. Just one of the best removal options in my opinion. 2 mana, target creature gets -4/-4, deals with Copter, deals with Grimflayer, deals with a couple other aggro stuff. So, really like it. So, that's why we're running a playset. Also, in the 2-drop slot, we have a full playset of Transgress the Mind. Really good for exiling stuff. Hits a lot of things. Yeah. Most people use this in sideboard, but I like it mainboard just because of the whole exiling thing for the deck. Next up we have the reason I might have kept it mono black. If I get some more cards later in the time, we have 3 Smuggler's Copter. Yeah, this is the card that kind of took over Standard. 2 mana, 3/3 flying. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. And its crew is 1, which is the real reason this card sees a lot of play. So we're running 3 of them. It's good aggro sort of plan there. Now we're going to the 3 mana non-creature spells. We got 2 Ruinous Path. Good for planeswalkers. Good for dealing with an Emrakul, assuming they don't control your turn while you have one. Assuming you top deck it after an Emrakul turn. Yeah, just good early removal if you need it. Good planeswalker removal. It's no hero's downfall, but hey, you can't always have instant speed planeswalker removal. Again, in the 3-drop slot, we have 2 Flying Tendrils. Again, goes well with the exile stuff. I really liked Languish when it was in Standard, so I like Flying Tendrils, although it'll probably get replaced by the card that was spoiled the other day, like Yanni's Experience or something like that. I can't remember. It's 4 mana, gives stuff -3/-3, and you get to cast the card with converted mana cost 3 or less or something like that. I don't know. It's a pretty good card. Again, in the 3 mana, we have Stasis Snare. Again, really good for Emrakul, for big threats, for vehicles if you need it. really good with flash. Just another good exile removal spell. And finally we have one of Obnixilis. Just a really good late game threat. Kind of, they have to, take a turn or two to deal with it. That can buy you some time to draw into some answers. So, I like the one of. So next we'll move on to the creatures. Starting at the bottom of the curve for 2 mana, we have 2 Bearer of Silence. Really good early game, really good for crewing Copter, and then also good in the late game after turn 4 when you can make an opponent sacrifice a creature. Unfortunately, it can't block, although a 2 mana, 2 power flyer probably shouldn't be blocking in this deck anyway. So yeah, just really good for crewing Copter, really good late game. I actually really like this card in the deck. So I know it's not seen in a lot of decks, but I really like it. Next, we have one of the Exile payoff cards. 3 of Wasteland Strangler. When it enters the battlefield, put a card an opponent owns from exile into that player's graveyard. If you do, give target creature -3/-3 until end of turn. So, good removal. Ideally, you turn 2 Transgress, turn 3 Wasteland Strangler, get rid of, something like a Spell Queller, or I don't know. Unfortunately, it can't hit vehicles with that, otherwise I'd say go for Copter, but yeah. Still a good piece of removal. Excuse me. Next up we have Matter Reshaper. Just a really good Eldrazi, really good for the aggressive plan. When it dies, we get some card advantage. Just a really good aggro card. Next up we have 3 of Sifter of Skulls. Again, not really your typical Eldrazi card that you would see in a lot of decks. Ideally, I would have Thought-Knot Seer in this spot. Unfortunately, Thought-Knot Seer is $6 each, approximately. I think they're down to like $5.50 maybe, but yeah, that will probably be in this spot at some point when I get them. So, but I like this card because if they do want to kill stuff, I still get mana out of it. And when you're playing Eldrazi, having mana is really nice. So, and speaking of exiling stuff, we have a 3 of Kalitas, Trader of Get. I'll move my thumb so you guys can actually read that. With the foily one leading the charge. Look at that foil. Foil is so nice on Magic cards. I'll give Wizards credit for that. First Mythic I ever drew that was pulled that was foil, so figured I should use Kalitas while I can. Of course, they changed the standard rotation, so I'll be using this for a while. But yeah, another really good exile stuff card, and it rewards me for exiling stuff because I get 2/2 zombies that I can sacrifice to make it bigger. 1 of Noxious Gearhulk. Again, this would probably be replaced by Thought-Knot Seer or an Ulamog if I could get one. Again, the price tag on that, it's like 15, I think, 12 maybe, 12, 15, somewhere between there. But yeah, I just have the 1 of Noxious Gearhulk in place of that right now. I think, in my opinion, Noxious Gearhulk is the 3rd best Gearhulk. After Verdurus and, of course, Fatcaster Mage. But fortunately, we're not playing green or blue in this deck, so we'll run the black Gearhulk. Next, we have another ramp-ish card. We have 3 Oblivion Sower. Really good card advantage because we get all lands that we exile with it. And then anything that we don't just is exiled, so it's good targets for Wasteland Strangler and stuff. So, yeah. And lastly, we have just 2 Distended Mindbender. Unfortunately, this doesn't exile the stuff from their hand like Transgress the Mind, but you get to take 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, so that's nice. Lands, I'll just quickly run through the lands here. mirror pool, waste, spawning beds, plains, and swamps. There's 20 total lands. And lastly, we'll go through sideboard really quick. Harsh Scrutiny, Early Disruption, Spatial Contortion, Good Removal, the third Stasis Snare, more Ruinous Path, Painful Truce for card advantage, 3 Aetherworks Marvel if we decide to go with the Scion's plan, Blightherder, and the one of Kozilek. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I get to test this out next Saturday, and I will see you guys next time.